Hey everybody, welcome back to a video game esoteric on our continuing series on the MiSTer FPGA DE10 Nano project. We got a fun, exciting, and unexpected video for you guys this Thursday because SRG 320 just updated the Sega Saturn core and we now have an August build. It brings a ton of new games and new features going on in the core, but most importantly it provides us saving, which is something we have not had in the core whatsoever. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And if I sound a little stuffy today, that is because I have enough cold medicine in me to move a baby elephant. Not feeling great, but we're going to get this video done. And I'm going to do a setup guide because it is a different process than we've been working on to start, and I want you guys to be able to test it now that we have saving. If you go over to the MiSTer Discord under Unstable Nightlies, we have both an unstable build of the actual MiSTer main file as well as single and dual RAM builds for the Sega Saturn core. You can pick whichever one you want, but just be aware that you do need the unofficial MiSTer main. That way you can go ahead and use the new core and the new features. If you're not on unstable, this core is not going to function. So just pick which one you want, single or dual RAM, depending on your setup. You know what hardware you have there. If you haven't gone to an unofficial MiSTer build, I will show you guys how to do that, but you'll see here we have that downloaded file for unstable. We need to rename that just to MiSTer, capital M, lowercase I, capital ST, lowercase ER. But the first thing we're going to do is install the new core, so we'll just go ahead and copy that from wherever we downloaded it, and we're going to go into underscore console right here. This is where all the console cores go. There is a script to do this automatically for you, but I just like doing it manually. I will leave a link to that script in the description below if I remember. If I don't, just remind me. Take that new core file, single or dual RAM, whichever one you have, and copy it into your consoles folder. This is going to be the core file itself. Now you will see here I have a MiSTer.old file because I've definitely gone from the unstable to the stable build before. But this MiSTer file right here, that's basically the file that's going to run the operating system for your MiSTer. If you've got a .old, you can delete it, and you want to change the file name here. I'm just going to name it to MiSTer.old or old. And that way I've preserved it in case I need to revert back to it. But we are going to be updating this MiSTer to an unstable build. So we'll go ahead and copy that file over that we renamed MiSTer that we downloaded from Discord, and we will paste it into our MiSTer SD card root directory. You'll see that is there. That's all you need to do to get over to unstable. It is quite easy. If we go over to games and we scroll down to get to the Saturn folder, if you haven't been testing the core recently, you do need to change the name of the BIOS file. I explained that in a video some time before, but I'm going to go over it again. This is a very old MiSTer I'm dealing with right now, so I'm going to delete boot.rom. If you have a boot.rom for the BIOS, this no longer works. You need to have a boot.bin. It's the same file you were using before, whatever BIOS works for you, but the file extension needs to be .bin or else it's not going to be recognized and the core is not going to work. So go ahead and bring over your BIOS in that boot.bin format over, and when you load up the core it'll be a black screen. Go ahead and hit the home button. You'll go to load BIOS.bin and then you will scroll through until you get past your folders. However you structure that, you load boot.bin up and you're going to have a BIOS right on the screen. Now the biggest change that comes with this core, and one that we've been really hoping to see, and it's great that SRG 320 is safe and able to do this, is file saving. Before, if you wanted to try to finish a game on the Sega Saturn core, you really wanted to pick something that wasn't too long because we could not save games whatsoever. But you'll see here in Symphony of the Night on Sega Saturn, playing as Maria, if we go ahead and save the game, it's looking like it normally should. Now I'm going to go ahead and power cycle the MiSTer, nothing you'll see on screen, but when we come back into the main menu to Game Start and we go to Data Select, you're going to see that we have our save file there, 3% of the first map completed. You can now load your saves. You just want to make sure that you turn auto-saving on, and I'll show you that in a second. But as we load this back up in-game after a power cycle, we are right back from where we saved the game from. This is going to be such a huge thing. I absolutely love it, and so does everybody else. But you'll see here on the main menu, if a game allows for saving, go ahead and toggle auto-save to on. That way you know every time you turn the core off or the MiSTer off, you have it. And the audio is even better than before. Go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds, and I'll be right back. Sounds absolutely perfect, and the last time I let you listen to the soundtrack, it was a little bit scratchy. Now it is perfection. Now moving over to a really weird experience, it's the prototype of Sonic Extreme. This is actually the July core because Andy D did a capture of this because a few people in the comments had asked if it worked. And sometimes playing around with these cores isn't just testing the games you remember that were some of the best Sega Saturn games of all time. Sometimes it's checking out all the other weird experiences that exist, but you can 100% check out Sonic Extreme on the current Sega Saturn core. I did load it up on the August core and it was exactly the same as the capture, so I did not change it out. But honestly, it's so unfortunate Sega never gave us a 3D Sonic game on Sega Saturn, and tell me down below what the one Saturn game you wanted to play that you never got was, because I would be curious. But as we play around with the new core as well, definitely remember that there's a lot of different tech demos and different strange experiences out there. And if there is not a game I haven't covered yet, something you want to see me test, leave me that comment down below, and I'll make sure it gets into one of the videos in the future. But I really wish Sonic Extreme had happened. It was always a curiosity of mine, and I love all the different diverse demos and some of those VHS tapes from back in the day with the sort of fisheye look to it. It was a very intriguing experience, and I wish we had gotten it 100%. But now moving back over to the August core after a slight diversion, and a game that has definitely seen improvement since the last time I tested it, is going to be Deep Fear. Now this is an awesome survival horror game. I think it's like 95% as good as the original Resident Evil, and it used to be that all of the FMV videos had audio, but the minute you got into the game itself, that had absolutely nothing whatsoever for your ear, it was playing mute. The good thing is now, all of the music, all of those background sounds, all of the voice acting are coming through 100%, which gives us a lot more to enjoy with Deep Fear. Because it is a long game that requires a lot of saving, we can now 100% enjoy it on the current MiSTer core. But go ahead and listen to this brand new audio for 35-45 seconds, hear how the quality sounds, and I'll come back and show you a few more games that just work.
Chief! Chief! Chief!
What's going on?
April Fools! Did you forget it's April Fool's Day?
You know, we don't have time for these fun and games.
Sorry, Chief. The mood around the big table had been kinda stuffy lately, so I had to play a joke before going crazy.
What do you mean, stuffy?
You were just transferred here a week ago, so you may not have noticed, but it's been especially stuffy lately. The army people have been really uptight.
So it's not like it's the most musical thing to ever hear, and it's not like it's got great voice acting, no game from this generation ever did, but it's an improvement from the previous core, because every other time I tested Deep Fear, and people always ask me to retest it because it is a popular game, it was just mute. You had no sound effects, you had no voices, you had no background music whatsoever. Now all of those are in the game along with all of the FMVs and the audio from them as well. And like I said, the best part earlier is now with saving, we can start going deeper into these games and seeing how they run and understanding what may or may not be working, because before, you could only play a game as long as it didn't freeze or until you got bored or had to get up and do something different. Because as much as you could save in-game, it never persisted after you power cycled. There was no save left behind. But another game that has improved substantially and was on SRG 320's Patreon notes is Darius Gaiden. This has gone back and forth from being near to perfect to having issues, and last time we tested it, there was some freezing after you beat the level 1 boss. It would never load into the next stage. And I'm happy to say it's 100% working here now. This game has amazing graphics. It's a mix between sprites, 2D backgrounds, as well as polygons, amazing music and sound effects, and this feels like a game you could 100% finish today. I played halfway through until I switched games for a new capture, and I didn't really experience anything outside of one small texture issue, which I will show you in just a moment. But this is one of the games that was mentioned as being improved in the new core, and it 100% is, because it used to be right around here, there would be a lot of freezing, and it used to be that these sound effects would be very scratchy and sort of glitchy, but the best part is that has 100% resolved itself in this new core, and Darius Gaiden has one of the best soundtracks in Saturn in my opinion. But you'll see we load directly into the next level, no issue whatsoever. And I'm going to give you one more taste of the current Sega Saturn core on MiSTer's audio because it is that good, and I'll come back and show you one more game that just works. But enjoy. Sounds exactly how I remember it, and that's always a good thing. And if you've never played Darius Gaiden, you 100% owe it to yourself to do so. But you will see the one glitch I was able to find here. If you look at the background, there's these little sprites that start going missing or start loading in the wrong data. I never remember that from an original copy of Darius Gaiden, but honestly, if you weren't staring at the background, you wouldn't notice. And as we get into an area that really mixes polygons around with 2D visuals, I can't see a single thing to my eye that doesn't look correct. Only that one texture in the stage C boss area was what I noticed when I played the game. But if you notice anything else while you're looking around, leave me a comment down below because I would be really curious. But again, if you've never played this one, definitely check it out. It's an absolute blast. Now, one game that everyone keeps asking me to test, and I'm going to try it again, and that is going to be Sky Target. Absolutely legit game, super fun, and unfortunately, the same thing happened every single time I test it as it did today. It just freezes on the loading screen. So for right now, at least, Sky Target 100%, just not something that I can get in-game. But don't forget, this is very organic still. Some people are able to play games I'm not, and I'm able to play some games other people aren't. Pixel Cherry Ninja never gets Symphony of the Night to load. It seems to be a cursed game for him. So hey, your mileage definitely will vary. Now, a game that I retested because I know everyone's going to ask if it's gotten any better since the last core, because it is one of the most popular games on the Saturn, is The House of the Dead. There is no more audio than there was before. There are no more sound effects than there were before. But I would say performance-wise, it feels like it's running exactly like the real Sega Saturn hardware would, which is to say janky and a little bit jerky. It's definitely not the Model 2 original, but it is working here. And I can't wait to see this core progress and get more features added into it, because right now, before you leave that comment, no light gun support does not work yet, nor does any analog video adjustment. A lot of people see the core in analog TV, the wrong edge of their screen, it's kind of trailing off. It is just how it works right now. But you can 100% play through The House of the Dead from start to finish. I have done it. You're just going to do it with no music whatsoever, so maybe hum in your head. And one more viewer request that keeps getting asked is Mortal Kombat 2. This was from the July core, but I did check it really quickly before I published this video on the new core, and it is working as well. It's still the same Mortal Kombat 2 on Sega Saturn, which is to say that the AI seems to be super predictive. Andy D did this one capture for me this week, and he absolutely got his ass handed to him, and that is just what Mortal Kombat always does. It is not an easy game, but people keep asking to know how it's running on the current MiSTer core, and I checked against this capture, and it seems to be 100% perfectly fine. So if you want to play some Mortal Kombat on your MiSTer on the work in progress Sega Saturn core, you can 100% do that this week. Go ahead and give it a shot. But that is the news for the week. We have a new MiSTer Saturn core. I gave you guys a setup guide, and saving is here. And saving is going to be so important for testing this core going forward, because for every game that takes 25 minutes to beat like a shmup, there's a game like Panzer Dragoon Saga that takes like 100 hours to beat if you look for everything. Being able to save is going to be huge. But leave me that comment down below. Tell me what game you want to see tested next time we do a video. And sorry for my voice this week. I am sick. I am done with this voiceover. I'm going to go bang my head against the wall and hope I get better. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.